And so I want to tell you something. Don't let other people's opinion about you define you. Don't let your past define you. Don't let your own opinion of you define you. People will always have an opinion of you. By the way, you go to the next chapter. We're in 1 Samuel 16. Go to 1 Samuel 17. The armies of Israel are out on the battlefield doing war. Saul is the king, and they encounter the Philistines, and the Philistines have this champion, they call him. He's really a loser, but they call him a champion. And his name is Goliath. And they're all hiding in their tents because day after day after day, Goliath comes out and challenges the armies of Israel. And David, who's been in the shepherd's field feeding sheep, his dad says, hey, I want you to take some food to your brothers, check on them, come back, let me know how they're doing. When David gets there, he sees this Goliath walk out, challenge the armies of Israel. They all run back to their tent and hide, and he goes, what are y'all doing? Why are y'all hiding from him? Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that's talking smack? Okay, I'm giving you the Decatur redneck version, all right? Who is this uncircumcised Philistine talking smack? And they're like, have you seen him? Have you seen how big he is? And David says, is there not a cause? Is there that he's defying the armies of the living God? He goes, somebody give me something. I'll go after him. And David is the one that goes after. Well, while he's asking about it, his oldest brother Eliab says, why are you here? What are you doing? Shouldn't you be back at our father's house keeping sheep? You just came out here because you're a nosy little kid. And that's when David says, wait a minute, is there not a cause? Why aren't you doing something? Listen to me. Those that will criticize you most in life wouldn't dare have the guts or courage to do what God's called you to do. They wouldn't do it. As a matter of fact, they're the ones that most of the time have spent their life on the sideline and not in the game. They would know nothing about spiritual warfare. They would know nothing about living their life for God. They've never even tried. So can I just tell you something? One of the greatest diseases you will ever be healed of is the disease to please. It will. Don't live it up. Don't worry about someone else's opinion of you. Don't worry about what they say. But by the way, what they say may be true today. But I always like to say, you can see what's going on in me today, but you don't know what God has for me tomorrow. You don't know what God's about to do in me. Don't count me out. You know, one of my favorite movies, I was thinking it the other day, I love movies, like the good movies, you know, like Rocky and Rambo and anything Sylvester Stallone's in, okay? That's like really cool stuff to me. I'm an 80s kid, or came up in the 80s. I'm actually a 70s kid. And so in Rocky V, he's training Tommy Gunn. Some of you old ones in here remember this. You don't just. And at the end, Tommy Gunn's turned his back on him, and Rocky and him get into it in a street fight. Wrong. You don't ever want to fight Rocky in a street fight. And he whoops up on Rocky a little bit. Rocky gets knocked down, and then Tommy Gunn's walking away. He's done it. And Rocky gets back up. When he does, he says, hold on, I didn't hear a bell. In other words, don't count me out. And can I just tell you the rest of the part of the movie? I mean, I don't want to spoil it for you if you've never seen it. But when he gets back up, he opens a can of whoop tail on him. Boom. Whoa. And Rocky whoops him. I know it's a movie, okay? But hang with me. I'm going to be real with you. There have been a lot of times in my life that the devil has knocked my block off and knocked me down. And I didn't think I would get back up. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure without a loving family around me, praying for me, believing in me, and believing in the God in me, that he would still accomplish his purpose in me, there was a time that I thought, man, I am done. Not just done in ministry, I am done in life. I have failed God. I had let him down. I've let my family down. I've let everybody down. And it had things happen to me, some that were my fault and some beyond my control. But let me tell you something. And I think it's where y'all may think I plan my sermons all week long. God gave this to me this morning, about the time I woke up, literally. I guess he started some of it last night, but this morning especially. My wife and I talked about this last night as we were driving through the parade, okay? And we're watching, and those were great videos they brought up, but that wasn't all the I mean, when we got to the main part of town, it was like those guys were rock stars. I mean, it was like, I thought we're going to need security. They were like, wow, and they were hollering at them. It was great. They were so cool. But let me back up 5 years ago for you. I've been here 7, okay? 5 years ago, am I right? 5 years ago? Quinn and I sat in my Jeep on the side of the road and watched the parade go by. Now, we've got some plaques back there somewhere where we have won that parade several times. And when I was at Countryside years ago, we won it like 4 times. And so I've seen the victory side of it, if you would. Like, we got the best float. I think we still have the best float. I may be biased, but that's my opinion. But I sat in a Jeep 5 years ago with Quinda and watched the parade go by and thought, man, I'd sure like for our church to have a float in the parade today. But the truth is, it would have been more like boxing than bull riding, because everybody that was here at that time hated each other and me too. And so there was no use. And during that time, I was watching our church, you may not know this, just literally go down. I mean, it was horrible. And I'm trying to think of all the things that a pastor would think of. Lord, what do I do? What do I do? You know, I got people leaving. They hate me. They hate each other. It's crazy. And in those days, I remember the Lord very specifically saying, just put cruise on. Just put the cruise on. And that's kind of against my nature. I got my driver's license watching Bo and Luke Duke drive, okay? The original. So neutral or cruise doesn't really fit in my equation. But he was telling me, and I remember the Holy Spirit's word to me, and he keeps it pretty simple with me because I'm pretty simple, all right? But in cruise. And I remember that night thinking, we'll probably never have a float in this parade again. Fast forward 5 years. And this last year, I've watched God say, master the gas in this church, put it in overdrive. I'm about to pour out my spirit. You're about to see revival. You're going to see some really big things happening. And when I was driving that float through the parade last night, and I'm looking in my mirror and seeing those guys ride and seeing those kids hoop and holler and seeing Gator and Nicole and Miranda right out in front of me with that steer, I'm thinking, oh yeah, devil, you should have not counted me out because God counted us in. You shouldn't have gave up on our church, because we're coming down through here now, and they think we're literally rock stars. In other words, what I want to tell you is when the devil whispers in your ear that you're done, that it's over, that you're counted out, don't believe him. When he uses somebody else to do that, just ignore it. Because I want to tell you something. Don't ever count yourself out, because God's probably getting ready to put you in. And let me say something else. When life gets at its darkest moment, that's when you want to quit most. Trust me, I've been there. But I got to tell you, it's always darkest just before the sun comes up. You're always the most tired at 6 o'clock in the morning, but the sun's coming up at 6:30, okay? You're always just about to give up, and then you see something turn around. I want you to know, if you walked in here today thinking, I'm about ready to throw in the towel and just give up, I don't know where God is in this. He's still there. He's walking right out in front of you, making your path straight, and the sun's about to come up, and you're going to see that it was good not to quit in this moment, because when it's the darkest, it's about to get daylight. God's about to break through. You're about to have a breakthrough, and you're going to see the glory of God on your life in a way that you have never seen before.